every Russian must eat soup at least once a day. New Yorkers are the noisiest, I think.
Probably it's true. I got you. I got the part.
Okay, off the record. Too good to be true.
Good. Не погуби меня.
I need to collect money.
Have a good company here, yes? Be careful, don't confuse.
Hi and welcome to Letters to King. I am Konstantin, and as usual, I'm your window into today's Russia. This crazy, interesting, and dynamic country. Today I have a guest. His name is Dmitri.
Hello, guys.
Friends call him Deema. Dmitri is a friend of mine. He was born in Moscow, in the very heart of Russia. He grew up here, he went to school here, and he works in Moscow. So he's been living in Moscow all his life. And he's a pretty smart guy, okay? He went to Moscow State University, and he graduated with a mathematics and physics degree, which...
With honors.
With honors, okay. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. He's a scientist. And where a physicist and mathematician can work...
In finance?
Of course in finance, all right? Meanwhile, Dmitri learned English just to be able to, learn what's going on outside of Russia. So he's very curious person by nature. Although he spent all his life in Russia, he's traveled to many countries, like 36 countries, man. Yeah, that's more countries than I traveled to. And he's never been to the United States. Yes, he's the American virgin, okay? He's yet to visit the USA.
Correct expression, American virgin.
Yes. So he's a perfect case for this interview because we're going to talk about what Russians find difficult to understand about the USA and about the Americans, okay? And he's a perfect case because he's never been to the United States, and all the information that he's gotten is from the news, from the media. So today we will find out what a typical Russian smart guy thinks about the America and the Americans. Let's go. So, Dmitri, would you please introduce yourself and maybe a few words about yourself, about your background?
Hello again. As Konstantin said, I'm a native Moscovite. I studied physics in Moscow State University. Now I'm working in finance. I love my work. I love my city, Moscow. I don't plan to go to United States because I love my city. So I'm going to tell you about a few things that Russians find strange about America and Americans.
Okay, I think we're going to speak about a few things like food, politics, behavior, relationships, sports. So first of all, I would like to start with food. Deema, what do you think so strange, difficult to understand about the food?
So Russians believe that Americans eat fast food 3 times a day, maybe 4 times a day, if they're in good mood or just for change. All American food is a hamburger or cheeseburger if they wish a variety. Russians don't understand why they can't eat soup every day for lunch or eat vegetable salads for a supper instead of meat.
Okay, my experience when I first got to the USA, I was shocked. People there didn't eat soup. I mean, I was raised on this soup strategy, okay? Every Russian must eat soup at least once a day.
At least once.
At least once a day. Okay, at least any kind of soup. Because it is widely considered that if you don't eat soup at least once a day, you will die soon. You will have ulcers.
Russians believe that it's very useful for their stomach.
Well, now I tell you how it is, okay? Russians believe that if you don't eat soup at least once a day, you will die soon of ulcers. Plain and simple, okay? You must eat soup. So I get to the United States, no soups. I'm in panic, okay? I go around and looking for soups. No, just in the restaurants, like in proper restaurants, not fast food. And then I start noticing that people don't die there. They live, and then something changes here. I'm thinking, well, maybe I won't die if I don't eat soup every day. And it turned out, it didn't turn out so badly, okay? I don't eat soup every day. I stopped eating soups every day, I think that the day that I came to the United States, like 25 years ago. So that was it. No more soups for me. Russians are very similar to Americans in many ways, okay? But in some ways, very different. Deema, what do you think? What do you find so strange about Americans, how they are portrayed in the media?
So I think that Americans a little bit noisier than the Russians. They're in the nightclub, they will be yelling wow all the time. In example, for when winning a $10 lottery or something like that, some important in commerce events in their life. Then in a flash they forget about it. Maybe they're proud of themselves at this moment, and in 10 seconds they forget about it. For Russians it's very strange why they should yell wow all the time.
Well, I tell you, you haven't seen nothing yet. Just go to Italy. Well, you've been to Italy, right?
Yes.
Oh, the Italians are so noisy. And then if you go to New York, the New Yorkers, not like among all the Americans, New Yorkers are the noisiest, I think. Especially the ones who live in Brooklyn. Okay, immigrants from Asia, from the CIS countries. What about the language, English language? What do you find interesting, unusual, or strange?
All Russians have a sense of pride in great and mighty Russian language, as Turgenev wrote. So all Russians believe that English is much more simpler than the Russian language. That's why it was chosen for human communication between people of different nations. I think that's not true, because English is the same as Russian, but it's much more convenient for communication to the beginners. And one more thing, Americans don't like to learn other languages. They think that every man on earth has to know English. Probably it's true.
I agree. Every man on earth must know English. English is a very convenient. It's easy. It's easy to learn. It's convenient. It's very straightforward language. I mean, I like it.
Me too.
Okay. So what do you think about sports? What do you find interesting, strange, unusual about American sports?
From time to time, I am watching American TV channels and running across baseball games. For Americans, it's like sport number one, like a religion. But Russians don't understand this game. Not a lot of Russians are baseball aficionados. For example, after 10 minutes of this game, all Russians would drop off to sleep. Baseball is a great sleeping pill for Russians. But Americans get excited after every run.
Don't tell that to my son. He loves baseball. That's number one. Baseball. My son loves baseball. Okay, he's a baseball player. It's sport number one. Basketball is number two.
You should love ice hockey.
Well, he likes ice hockey, but baseball is number one. Well, it's really strange. I myself personally don't understand this obsession with baseball. I've been to a few baseball games. It's decent, but I like soccer, football.
Me too.
But I have a question though. You said you sometimes watch American sports, American channels and American sports. What the hell? Why would you watch American sports? Why don't you watch Russian sports?
Well, from time to time I am turning my channels around, watching TV. It's by accident.
So how is this American sports on Russian TV?
No, from time to time I'm watching some channels. I don't remember where, but
I know. Those damn Russian hackers.
Maybe hackers.
Yeah, they hack the TV and you watch Russian TV and
yes,
then boom, you get American sports there.
Yes,
oh my God.
They hacked to watch baseball games, yes.
Yeah, baseball games and then Russian TV. Now you're watching about culture and this Pushkin stuff and then boom, baseball.
No, just to get sleep.
Okay.
To get a good sleep.
Sleeping pill, all right.
Yeah.
Legal system is quite different The Russian one differs from that's entire different world. Okay, I understand at your work, you immersed, okay, into Russian laws and you work with Russian laws all the time. But since you are such a big fan of the USA, you know about the legal system, and that's great because not too many Americans know about their legal system. So you studied mathematics, right? Physics, my God, physics, and
It's almost the same.
okay.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got the part.
And then
No difference at all.
laws, legal system, right? Like, wow. Anyway, that shows you something, right? That Russian education is really high quality. So, tell me about it. How the Russian one differs from the American one?
Some time ago, I read about some girl from Arizona chasing a guy, sending him a billion messages every evening. After break in his house and taking a bath, she got arrested by the police and put in jail with career criminals. Horrible story for me. She should have a guy permission for that. Then at large, they would be much more safer than in the company of career criminals. In this situation, Russia doesn't exist at all. Every man could change his SIM card every minute or has plenty of them. In Russia, his pals of this guy would poke fun at him about the whole situation when a girl chasing a guy, not the other way around. But the most funny thing in America is that different states have different laws. For example, if some bad guy did something bad in one state, he probably gets one penalty. But if the same guy did something bad in another penalty, he probably gets another penalty. So it's like a message to bad guys. Guys, please do this in this state, or this and that, and this at that state. Don't mix up the state, guys. Be careful.
Let me tell you, this is more of a cell phone coverage in Russia versus the USA than about the legal system. But concerning different states and different legislation for each state, that's true. That's very unusual for Russians, or for that matter, for anyone in the world, because usually a country has federal laws that cover all the territory. In the United States, there are federal laws, and also there are state laws.
It's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And yes, the penalties are different for different things. For example, the death penalty, right? Some states have it and some don't. So if
That's the most
a person commits a crime, like murders someone, sometimes criminals run towards the another state. They cross the border. If they get arrested in another state, they won't be able to execute it. They won't be able to execute them, right?
The criminals don't like electric chair. Yes, don't like.
No, they don't. But the thing is, the criminals, they mostly don't think about things like that. They should
Be careful, guys. Don't mix up the states.
Yeah,
don't confuse the states.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I kind of agree with the cops for arresting the girl. If a girl breaks into my house, I wouldn't like that.
Did you see this girl? She's attractive, beautiful girl.
So, if she breaks into my house?
Attractive, beautiful girls?
No, my wife wouldn't like it.
I don't understand people.
No, my wife wouldn't like that. Seriously.
Forget about your wife for a second.
No, I can't forget even for a second, Honey, I can't forget about you, even for a second.
Forget about it for a second.
It's called off the records? No.
For 10 minutes, okay, forget about it.
Okay, off the record. All right.
Yes.
So, if girl, right, breaks into my house and gets into a bath, no, I wouldn't like that. Because I would think about my wife.
Not just girl, attractive girl. Gorgeous girl.
Anyway. Dmitri, I think I'm more American than Russian.
Yes, you're more American. Yes, you're more American.
All right.
You are Puritan, yes, I get it.
Puritan, yes.
Puritan.
I'm a good boy.
Yes. Too good. Too good for Russia.
Too good to be true. So, politics is a very interesting topic. We hear about the American politics every day, on every corner. All Russian media outlets, they don't even discuss. They live by American politics, okay? They think it's the most important thing in the world. Like Trump gets impeached or, Americans do that, American senator does that, and puts another sanctions on Russia and things like that. Dmitry, what do you think? What is the main difference between American politics and Russian politics?
For Russians, there isn't much difference about Republicans and Democrats. I will make my point clear. Every 8 years, Americans hold presidential elections. Every 8 years, Republicans...
Every 4 years.
No, in fact, it's every 8 years when they change the president.
Elections are 4 years?
Yes, I know, but the real elections is every 8 years.
I think what you're trying to say is this: it's really difficult to get an incumbent out of his chair.
Yes, yes. And every 8 years, Republicans tell the people about how Democrats did something bad in the past, or vice versa. Every 8 years, Americans are told that next 8 years would be different than those before, and probably Americans believe in it. Or some guy says that he's a 100th generation Republican. Russians don't know how to react. Give him a high five or send their condolences.
And this is how a regular Russian guy sees American politics. Interesting. All right. Dmitry, what do you think of the USA in general?
The US is a very prosperous country. It's a country of immigrants. It's a multicultural nation, but I think it's hard to live there because a lot of competition there. It's a lot of fast food there. No soup. No,
no soup is a killer.
No soup and a lot of baseball games. So it's very hard for Russians to live in there. But some heroes from Russia will live there, learning their languages, because Americans don't like to learn languages. That's all. But it's maybe for somebody it's good, for somebody it's bad. I don't know. But for me it's good Russia. I like Russia.
No, I actually like burgers. I like burgers a lot.
Cheeseburger.
Oh, burger is a cheeseburger. It's the same thing as burger, only with cheese, you know?
Yes.
So it's my favorite food, by the way. And then in the last few years, they started making real good hamburgers here in Russia. Before that, I really suffered.
Say our watchers about how you liked soup in Russia.
I did.
Yes, how liked soup in Russia. And that's why you don't like now soup. It's the greatest Russian food, like borscht. Oh no, not Russian, Ukrainian. But it's like Russian.
Yes, it's very close.
She is Russian.
So
it's great. It's good for your stomach.
So I take it you still eat soup every day because you must.
No freedom, only soup.
Yeah, what freedom are we talking about? Come on, soup rules, okay? Yeah, I gotta make this video. I gotta name this video, the soup rules.
Soup rules. Yes, a great name.
I actually, you know what? I like this incredible dish I had in the United States. It's called French onion soup.
French onion soup.
French onion soup.
I get you.
That's fantastic. All right, I really miss it. There were a few restaurants in Maine that served excellent French onion soup in a bowl of bread. This is so good. I ordered many times in Russia, in other countries. Nowhere I was able to get decent French onion soup. I don't know why. So that's the only kind of soup that I like these days. You say I'm still alive? I don't eat soup every day.
But I think that the French onion soup a little bit show off in Russia. We like borscht or щи. We don't like French onion soup for everyday meal. Maybe 1 a month or 1 in a year or 1 in 10 years. It's what we got.
One in life. You know?
More rarely.
Once in lifetime.
Once in life. But not often.
What do you think? What in general? Are Russians hostile towards the USA?
No. It's a widely spread stereotype about Russians' hostility. Russians are very hospitable people. No crimes here in great scale, I would say. So it's come to Russia, see the Kremlin, Red Square, Moscovites, if you find somewhere Moscovites in Moscow.
I think you are advertising Russia. Okay, it's
Yes,
like
yes.
Russian travel agency. I need to collect money because it's gonna be in my YouTube channel. Where can I collect?
Today is for free.
First is a freebie. Okay. All right.
Maybe, yeah.
Come to Russia.
But not often. Have a good company here, yes?
Star role is certainly Dmitri's.
Yes.
So
Tell us about,
listen.
about me again.
Okay.
I couldn't hear it for the first time.
Можно.
Да ничего не
Уже все, да.
бабушка.
Так, ну давай. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure. Different states have different penalties for same crimes
In the
Yeah.
same country.
in the same well, this country is not called America, okay? To be technical, this country is called, that country is called the United States of America. So many states, 51, right? United in
But they don't have 50 electric chairs. It's very strange for me.
That's true. That's strange. Yeah, that's
It's
well-
not enough electric chairs in the whole America.
looking to the USA from Russia. That's really strange. Oh yes.
That's okay.
Okay, friends. Thanks for watching Letters to King. We've had fun filming today. I hope you all have fun, as much fun, and enjoy watching. Please stay tuned and laugh more.